How's it going, you guys? Got someone watching. If you want to say hello, go for it in the chat. I'm going to just real quick, I'll start in just a couple of minutes. I got the link to share just on all the forums real quick. So that's what I'm doing right now. Okay. Whoever's watching, hope you're doing well. Just give me one moment. All right. Get started in just a second. So the way that I do these videos is I get the preview ready on YouTube. I go on quite a few different forums. Got someone on. So it's 12:45 now. I guess I can get started. So this is posted in, let's see, I think 4 or 5 shave forums. So real quick, the Shave Nook. Hey, Abraham. Good to see you. I remember you. Don't worry, my man. Let's see. Yeah, thanks for hopping on, my man. So real quick, this is posted. Yeah, anyone that's watching right now, feel free to say hello, ask a question. I want to just do the shout outs and where I have this posted. So shave forums include the Shave Nook, Damn Fine Shave, the Shave Cadre, the Italian Shave Forum, Il Razzoio. And then we have 4 Facebook groups, SV Aficionados. We have SoCal Wet Shavers Collective. We have Lather and Blade, and then Rich Man Shaving Groups. This is also posted on, thank you, Abraham. I appreciate that. I have this posted in, hold on, I just forgot, Abraham. On Instagram. So if anyone, friends, non-shaving people are seeing this, hello. So, okay, let me get the brush loaded up for the soap or loaded with the soap. And then you guys will see me using the carbon shaving razor for the second time. So today, I don't know if I showed this last time. So I have SV Opuntia in this container. It's a nice wide mouth jar made by somebody that I know in ceramics. But I also had just a little bit of mango and kokum butter put on top before I do the bloom or add a little bit of water. So if my face looks a little oily after I hopped out of the shower, I pretty much always use the SV pre-shave. And so this is from Shave Revolution. Years back, we big on Mystic Water soap. Yep. Thanks, Abraham. I'll make a couple comments on my lather, but my buddy Justin Park years ago, he was the one that was, he had the business Shave Revolution fairly close to me. And so this is my probably number one. It's kind of tied with one other brush that is my most used brush. This tends to be just one of the better lather making brushes. So yeah, Abraham, just since you mentioned Mystic Water, I'm gonna do a few shaves coming up soon, probably next month. And just for the sake of, since I've been doing some videos, it's very seldom that I'll switch away from SV, but I'm actually gonna do a shave with Mystic Water and maybe a couple other soaps or maybe even creams. So I'll just go a little bit more. Hope everyone is having a good Sunday. I was going to do this yesterday, but it was a very slow day for me. I wasn't really feeling very energetic, kind of beat down from the week. So glad I could hop on with you guys today. So, by the way, Abraham, are you still working at West Coast Shaving? I make the assumption that you are, but I was thinking about you before. Looks like we got another viewer, so feel free to say hello, ask a question. Just about to start face lathering. And you guys, last week, if you guys saw my other shave, the first shave using the carbon, I was moving around a lot because it's pretty hard to see the mirror. So I may do a little bit better this week or today to just look at the camera. But it's a little disorienting, to be honest. So I apologize if I'm moving around a bunch. But all right, cool. Well, good, man. I hope everything's going good, Abraham. And yeah, no problem, David. Oh, cool. So sharp. David's on, you guys. Couple things, you guys. So I maybe started recording these shave videos more recently, like maybe a month ago or so. But for whatever reason, I've been trying to watch as many older YouTubers or as well as new YouTubers that are starting shave channels. And it's a little overwhelming to be able to watch all of them. So I've been really trying to, watch a few here and there, pick up new channels. But yes, David, I'll be using the plus plate. So just give me a second and finish lathering. The one thing that I think is really cool is because if you guys remember, I kind of said I'm expecting us to be in a second wave of wet shaving, and that's just, you know what I mean, is that the hobby is going to experience a lot of growth. And part of why I think this is happening, or it has been happening, is there's been obviously a lot of people that and Abraham and David, since you guys are in the comments, for instance, do you guys think this is too thick? One reason why I tend to face lather for a long time is all the brushes that I use are, for lack of a better term, they don't have any scritch whatsoever, but they even have very minimal scrub. And for the most part, if I'm going to get any scrub, it's going to be where, like right there, and it's really soft on the face. So the one thing is that I typically do have a little bit more beard than I think most people I see on YouTube, and that's because, like, whenever my last shave was, this is about 5 days beard growth. I think I shaved on Tuesday. So yeah, about 5 days beard growth. David, this is the stock Shave Revolution. So this is the 3-band High Mountain White. I call it a bulb. It's not like some of the European bulbs, but this is the 24 millimeter. And so real quick, what was I just saying? So I was talking about beard growth. But one of the reasons why I face lather for so long is that generally during the week, my face is pretty itchy. And the reason why I don't daily shave is my skin is, I just say it's thin. My skin's pretty sensitive. And so I have enough beard growth to be able to shave daily, but I haven't been able to successfully do it without discomfort on my skin. So I know one of the guys that I really enjoy watching on YouTube is Anthony Esposito. And I know when he lathers, he's a straight razor user. He's pretty quick with his assembly, and he doesn't spend this much time. He doesn't have the amount of thickness, but when he says you don't need this, I would agree. It's just for me personally, guys, I find that this is the biggest difference. If I wasn't wet shaving, I'd be throwing on the foam in a can, add a little bit of water, and then I'd be shaving. So the biggest difference for my skin is this is the time where whatever active ingredients my soap might have, this is the, time where my skin gets to benefit from it. Okay, you guys. So I think that's good. I'll just leave that. Okay, so earlier in the week, you guys, I had the carbon razor. Make sure it wasn't okay. So I'm not using their stock handle because it was just a tad bit difficult for me to hold. So I'm going to use my normal aluminum handle. And surprisingly, it's not that much different. Yeah, Abraham, it's usually about 3 to 4 minutes. And on video, it's obviously not that entertaining, but for me, it's probably the most important part for the prep, along with, maybe using a pre-shave oil. So because this is a live video, you guys, the quality of the video is not as high. So I'm going to get this as close as I can, but this base plate is 1.08 gap. Whereas the last shave, if you guys check out my video, that base plate has 0.68 blade gap. And again, this is not a universal system of knowing how every razor across any brand is going to be. So for instance, if you're buying a carbon, you can judge that number against the other base plates. And I'm using a Kai again, you guys, on my second shave. I'll be honest, you guys, I was kind of expecting this plus plate to be a little bit more aggressive. I was almost a little afraid. I don't know why. I've used plenty of pretty efficient and aggressive razors. But, I'm using my Kai blade for my first 2 shaves because in my experience, Kai blades are probably the sharpest blade that my skin gets along well with. So far, this is pretty comfortable. To be honest, you guys, this is a little bit easier for me to feel like I'm getting a nice, consistent angle, whereas that first shave, I was really struggling to hold the handle, 1, and then 2, I was obviously first time using the razor trying to find an appropriate angle. So during the week, So Sharp David and I were messaging, as well as I was talking with a few different people on the forums. About the knurling on the various different handles. See, so today, you guys, I'm watching the live screen as opposed to looking off in the mirror behind the computer. So it seems to be okay so far. But just a quick note, you guys. So what I told David was, because he had tried the carbon razor, which was made of grass, Makumi Game, I think. And he said that the knurling on that was sharper than the stainless steel version. So you guys, this Razor Rock aluminum handle is very simple. It just has these notches or grooves. This, for whatever reason, the sharpness is on the edges, and this tends to be a pretty easy to hold razor for me. So, or handle, I mean. But I wanted to talk again about pricing. This seems to be, I think, what is a big thing for me doing videos again. And it's so funny because I'm starting these around a time when I bought the initial razor, and then right after that video, the additional base plate that I'm using today was released, and I bought that. And then like a month ago when I was starting these shave videos again, I made mention of the Tri-Talk, or it might be Tree Talk. I don't know, but they had to hold off on that being produced and released in Italy because of COVID-19. But that was now made available for purchase. And so my next shave may actually be not with the carbon, but with the Tri-Talk R52. You know, I was thinking this week, it's like, I've used a lot of high-end gear. I can't remember who I was talking to. And, oh, geez, what am I doing here? Okay, let me do this real quick. But what I'm really happy about is when I'm watching most, I think we'll just say all people on YouTube doing shave videos, I think a lot of people that are hobbyists in shaving are trying to make sure that when they possibly have a new viewer or beginner starting, they're more or less, I think, giving good foundational things to keep in mind if you're going to be starting wet shaving. And that's just understanding that if you're seeing people like me use gear, and then if you go look up like how much it might be and if it's expensive, that you don't feel like you're going to get a subpar shave. By the way, if you guys are drinking anything, cheers. I got a little bit of coffee in here. But like, so Sharp David, he's pretty close to me because we're both from Los Angeles. But he was asking me on my last live shave, do you like the carbon razor? Do you like it? Do you like it? And the answer is yes, but I was thinking it's been a while since I bought new gear. So this carbon razor being a little bit more expensive for a modern razor, I realized, you know what? I haven't bought a lot of new stuff because there just hasn't been anything that has piqued my interest. And so it just so happens that I have the carbon razor now, and then that Tri-Talk. They just happen to be more recent ones that the way they shaved, at least on videos when I was seeing them, I was very curious. So let me do just a quick little redo on this. Is there any questions, you guys? So, like I said, I think that's really important is anyone that is new to wet shaving or do not know what this is, the real question is whatever you're using, because again, this is not just for men shaving their face, but if you are someone that shaves, are you getting the best shave possible? And the way that I always kind of determine that is, are you getting rid of as much hair, we'll say visibly, and then as you get a little bit more experienced, then you can go based on by feel. Because here's the weird thing, you guys, and there is a little bit of a odd thing about shaving videos. If you guys notice, I very rarely ever tell you like and talk about the scent. And it's not that I don't think it's important. It's that for other people that do review videos, I'll talk about that in a second, Abraham. The reason why I don't really talk about scent is, again, like for the most part, when you guys see my shave of the day video, if you see a different shave soap than the previous one, it's because I feel like it's going to suit my skin's needs for that shave and that day better than the last one. So I don't typically choose the shave soap based on the scent. But the other thing too is half the time I read, we'll just say reviews on the SV soaps, I get people saying they're really light. And then there's times where I'm like, the scent is plenty strong for me. And so again, it's not that people are wrong, it's that we're all so subjective. Now, here's another interesting thing. So Abraham is asking, what's my thoughts on newer artisan shave soaps and their emphasis on the best post-shave feel? And for me, my skin tends to be dry, you guys. And I'll tell you this. So when I started shaving back in, I think it was 2012, I think I was like 20 years old. I had a couple months where I was using foam in a can and the multi-blade razors. And then I was like, God, these cartridge razors are just getting so expensive. So through looking around online a little bit, I then started seeing like a safety razor, a straight razor, etc. And then, and I'm getting to your point here, Abraham, but most of the soaps that I got in the first 2 years of the wet shaving hobby were typically Italian soaps that were vegetable, but they were very, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of water. I got a little bit of bloom water, but Opuntia, I would say, is probably one of the top ones as far as performance when it comes to like all shaving soaps that I've used, but particularly between the SV soaps. So Abraham, for me, I've found that after trying so many different soaps, the main thing that the more simple formulas in a shave soap do is they provide a very easy lather, but the in-shave protection isn't going to be like top tier. And then the post-shave is usually what I found to be what wasn't good enough for me. There wasn't enough super fatting in most of the soaps. And what would be interesting is, like, I'm kind of surprised how many people, I don't want to say that they've said it's weird or odd, but just putting a little bit of that kokum butter and mango butter, I could probably try that with some of the, you guys see how much more glossy that looks? I'll just get a little bit more and then we're good. I should try that with, like, say, one of the French soaps, like Martin de Condré. That was one that lathers great, but my skin just felt very dry after. And so it's not that it's a bad soap. There's going to be plenty of people that say it's the best soap. It just doesn't work with my skin the way that I need it to be. So, you know, you got David on here. I don't know that David has more oily skin, but I know he prefers an aftershave that has burn. So I know he typically doesn't really like the SV aftershaves because that kind of experience is missing. But for me, that's what I need. The standard for any soap, be it artisan, and if you guys are interested in SV, someone you should check out as well is Handlebar Dave. He's the one that has the Shave Cadre, but he did a video, I think 2 days ago, and he made a reminder that if you guys don't know, SV is a large company. And from what I know, I was looking at the receipts. So I think SV released the first shave soap in 2015. And what I think happened was Alessandro might have been hired by SV to be like the head formulator for their shave soaps. And I'm pretty sure he had worked at one or possibly even more than one cosmetic company or, you know, grooming company formulating different shave soaps. So in that sense, the artisan that's not responsible for the shave soaps, but he's the one that, whatchamacallit, he's the one that tends to be the main influencer when it comes to, I believe, the ingredients chosen for their different formulas. I do know though, they have their team work on the various releases. So you guys, right here, I did this last time. This is where my pimple was last time. So you guys can see it, but it hasn't been opened up. So real quick, as far as the carbon plus plus base plate, it's not that much more aggressive. I'm actually, like, it's seems to be even easier. You know, David, this angle that I was doing last time, it seems even easier with this base plate. And the reason why I was using this angle, you guys, some of the people that saw my last video, so I was pretty much holding the razor like this. And some of you guys might think, how are you able to shave? Well, the reason is the blade ends up coming at this angle. And so I kind of think of it as a squeegee, and it does end up being more aggressive on your beard and your skin. But when I was holding the original base plate and head with that more traditional angle, it's not that it was uncomfortable, but it just felt like I was getting a little bit more resistance. And that's probably not even fair to say that it was resistance, but for the reason why I bought this razor, as well as the Tri-Talk, is to shave, like I said, with this angle, because that's how I was using the BBS one for quite a while, and it's how I shave with it now. There's this range or this window that you guys can use. I mean, it's just the simple fact that sometimes the angle that is going to take the beard off, it will vary. You can get it from a variety of angles, but you got to find what's most suitable. Okay, guys, I'll probably do just against the grain on everything, but again, I can't go really across the grain. Hey, Abraham, if you're still on, I'm just curious, when was the last video that you saw? Because I know, like, when we met probably 2 or 3 years ago at West Coast, I wasn't doing videos. But I'm just curious if you had known or seen kind of my previous method of shaving. All right, this is pretty much good, you guys. One of the reasons why I wanted to bring up just Alessandro real quick, and this is just artisans in general, is you guys, as a soap formulator, it's not as simple as just choosing the most exotic oils and fats to put in your soap. And this can kind of be said for palm. Palm oil tends to be a little controversial, obviously, because there's a lot of people that say it contributes to the deforestation of different tropical areas in the world, where some large company or some firm or whatever might go in and, you know, basically ruin the environment for the animals, which I'm not debating. I know that happens. But the funny thing is, if you go on a shave forum and they say, you know, oh, if you're using, you know, palm oil, that's really bad. I'm not going to disagree, but I think most of us probably are consuming more palm oil in most of the foods that we're buying. If you do buy like a product food, like maybe it's a processed food. Abraham, I might unveil some of my old videos, but basically the reason why I asked is, for a lot of years, basically before I started doing videos again, I would use the BBS one from Wolfman LA Shaving Soap Company, but I would always do an against the grain first pass. So this is much different for me to kind of go back to just beard reduction. And then, like, I'm going to finish with this against the grain pass. So that's why I brought that up. So you guys, if you don't know, the reason why palm oil in soaps, be it a body soap, bar soap, shave soap, is palm, or like any soap, I'm sorry, let me step back. Any ingredient such as a fat or an oil, it is made up, when you look at the chemistry, of different types of acids, okay? So palm oil is very beneficial because with that one oil or fat, you have a very strong base for a soap. So the reason why this is important is if you're limited in how many ingredients you can find or want to use, you can basically just use palm. Now, for something like coconut oil, that's again, there's a variety of different acids in it that aid in being able to make a foaming lather, one that will take up water and build something that has some volume. But it also has, we'll just say, a lack for a better term, it doesn't have as many acids in it that will help give your skin some conditioning or hold some of that humectant quality where it's going to give you some of that post-shave feel where it's not going to feel so drying on your skin. So if you guys are someone that looks at a lot of the ingredients, something I did years and years ago is I have my notebook full of, at that time, all of the different oils and fats that I found in shave soaps. There used to be this health food store that was years and years ago, fairly close to me. And I remember going in and buying red raspberry seed oil, like all the cold pressed exotic oils. I remember getting muru butter. I remember getting kupuasu butter. There's a couple other ones. But what you do is you look up, let's say here, Abraham or David, what's a ingredient that you guys might see in a shave soap that you might find is like beneficial to you? I'll see if I can remember real quick. And I can kind of give you guys an example of what you guys might do to research this a little bit. Buffalo milk. Okay. So goat's milk. Okay, see, so this is interesting because this is not, yeah, that's okay. So Abraham, if you go online, I'm not going to be able to give you a specific answer on that, but I'm trying to remember. I think in a lot of the animal fats, you guys, one of the things is like you'll look up Abraham on a search, water. You could just do buffalo milk composition or fatty acid composition. And then what you'll do is you'll see a variety of the different acids. And like I said, sometimes those different things that you'll see are going to be more conditioning for the skin. Sometimes the different fatty acids in it will make up a more easy to lather, like they build in unison with some of the other fats. So that's another thing too, you guys, is you can use palm oil if you're a soap maker and let's say you're using a variety of oils that aren't typically found in a shave soap. If they don't lather, you can use palm, and palm's kind of like your friendly oil to help everything get along while you're making the soap. So yeah, so David's like me. I typically don't find the goat's milk soaps do much for me. I think sometimes in the past I question if it really did irritate my skin, but for the most part, I think it was the other ingredients that I found. But for whatever reason, mango butter and coconut butter, when I found those, I realized that I could deal with those and I don't need the tallow or the lanolin. Okay. So going back to how you judge your shave, you guys, if someone is new in shaving, you have the visual shave. How close does my shave look? And whenever you get that kind of reflection on the skin, I think that's a good indicator that you got a good amount of that top layer of beard off. Okay, now you have, for you guys, kind of the auditory feedback. So there's kind of a visual judgment of, if you go out, a lot of guys want the closest shave on their face. And I always say, that's fine. I'm after the same thing, but your goal is to not surpass how close it is and compromise the comfort of your skin. So let me just look real quick. So it looks like right there, I've got a little nick. Maybe here. But maybe this shave went, I would say maybe 1 or 2 steps above my previous shave as far as results. But anyway, this isn't to say people don't know what they're talking about, but if you guys are interested in shave soap, oils, fats, ingredients, just know it's really not as simple as just finding something that you think is good. It's knowing how that and the composition of the fatty acids in it will work in conjunction with the other ingredients that you choose. And then how will it work when you turn it into a soap? Because again, you guys remember, like for instance, David's on here. He has the Flying Mango from SV. So the mango butter that I take out of this is not going to be the same when I have a shave soap that had mango butter in the making. It's not the same. So again, if you guys are looking at European soaps, due to their laws, when you are making a cosmetic product, you have to put what is in the finished product. And so typically you'll find some of the saponified ingredients, they get listed with potassium or sodium, and then it's what is the finished soap fat called at the end. Oh, it cut out. Well, if you're still with me, Abraham, hopefully everything's cool. Real quick, let me actually just do a quick little touch up here on the neck. Okay, sorry, Abraham. So Abraham, all I was saying is usually the American artisans can do either as far as how they will list the ingredients. They might put mango butter, or they may put potassium or sodium, Mangifera indica, or something like that. So it's just a little bit more specific to what is in the finished product. And I don't think there's really a good or a bad way, but again, because wet shaving is a fairly international thing, we are subject to different standards or different laws. So that's why the American artisans have really boomed. All right, will do. How long did it cut out for you guys? All right. I don't want to know. All right. Well, I'm sorry that happened. So David, I can give a few more comments. So you guys, this carbon razor, it's really nice. Let me go back to pricing just one more time. I think the biggest difference, you guys, when you are buying a entry-level safety razor is, if you've never used a safety razor, your key thing is finding out what is the advantage to these double-edged blades. Now, as you get a little bit better, or if you find that your needs are a little bit more demanding, and maybe the entry-level safety razor is good, but you're kind of questioning the quality of the shave, when you start stepping up in price, the biggest difference, in my opinion, is you are paying for the work that goes into, how do I put this? The very small details, such as how close are the tolerances on their design for how to hold the blade. Because the main difference is when I'm using some of these milled materials, it could be stainless steel, it could be aluminum, it could be titanium. When you're starting with a solid piece of material and then it's getting CNC'd or milled or whatever, all of the code that they have to put in the machine um, they have to get it down to a certain tolerance so that they know their design to hold the blade is as tight as possible. Because I know that sometimes when you are judging two different razors, the with the grain pass and the across the grain pass, the two razors may have the same amount of comfort, but then you get the judgment on how does it feel against the grain. And usually if you have one razor that is noticeably better, that would be my guess, is that what you're noticing is that that blade is held much more tightly. And so the edge of the double-edged safety razor blade is having a much easier time cutting through your beard, and it's moving a lot more smoothly on your skin. So my first razor, which was again a German Merkur razor, they call it Zamic, zinc alloy something, okay? But basically it's a cast razor, and then they are able to coat it usually, like let's say in chrome or something. But regardless of how nice it looks, the key thing on the double-edged safety razors is having that double-edged blade held tightly, whether it might be flat, semi-bent, or really curved. That's the key thing, is trying to find out really what your skin needs. When I'm cutting off a lot of beard, I prefer to have a razor that is generally pretty tight on that blade so that I'm not getting a lot of what they call as blade chatter. So when I get the focus razor, you guys will see me use that very soon. That's the biggest difference, is you're going to see that design. It has a little bit more of a flat profile. The head design is a lot different, like on the cap. So, just to kind of finish up on pricing, a big thing with my videos is you're going to see me using the gear that works for me, and kind of, it's not what I like, but just what I want to use that's going to give me a nice, close and comfortable shave. But I'm going to be telling people, if you're a new person, you're free to use a cheap mid-price or a top tier razor. But the key thing is, you don't need to feel like you have to jump down the rabbit hole. Do I shave once a week? Abraham, generally, yes. So I wasn't doing a special amount of beard. I almost did use the razor a little bit early, but comfortably, my skin likes about 5 days rest in between shaving. The most that I have shaved is 2.5 weeks beard growth, almost like 3 weeks. And that was years and years ago. So what was I going to say? I had kind of made mention on some of my other videos about badger brushes, and I figured out a little bit more about how I'm going to do this video. So I'm pretty close to releasing that. But the main thing is, if you guys want a little preview, I think the key thing on a badger brush, if you want to get a quality one, you really should be able to find a solid performing and a very luxurious brush for under $100. I've tried a very large amount of badger brushes in a big range of price. And you guys, this one, it was made in China as far as the handle, the assembly of the knot. This knot, I would say, just the knot, it's about a $40 knot retail. And this is preferable for me over the $500 brush, the $250 brushes, the $400 brushes. So my key message to most people is, if you want to try them, go for it. But I know for me, I spent too much money on badger brushes, and as much as I love them, I just want to share with other people that I've tried it all, and just in my experience, I am totally happy for the rest of my life if I want to use a Chinese brush that was only 40 bucks. You will find kind of a conflicting view in my other badger brush video, because basically I'm going to say, if I were to buy more badger brushes, I'm hopefully going to be investing in one that is maybe an American company, and I'd be willing to pay a very big price for it, but I'm not going to be buying a ton of them. So the same goes for the carbon razor, you guys. If you purchase one of these, you may be spending a couple $100, and I'm not going to tell you what's worth purchasing. But for me, I think this also comes down to, I hope it's not, really like a political issue, but kind of, where do you invest your money? Do you invest it in a company that is a foreign country to you. If you're someone that's in China, I don't know why you would purchase a shaving brush from America or from some other company. But also for me being in the United States, buying a American-made razor is, yes, going to be more expensive, but there's reasons for that. And it's more than one reason. But I tend to think that one of the problems that we have in society is we're very disconnected from our purchases. That could be with food. We don't always know where our food comes from and how much work goes into that. With shaving, I know that, and again, this isn't meant to be political, but you guys, this design, just like every other razor, you guys, that came out of America, it's kind of like art. It's very subjective when someone comes out with a copy or a variation of an art piece. So if you're buying a design from a foreign country that is basically in the same realm or the same design, and it's cheaper, that's up to you. That's kind of the one thing that people don't like about capitalism is, the free market. It's up to the customer to choose where they want to buy. But I find so many people are driven based on price and buying, cheaper items. And I think there's times where that's smart. But I think one downfall is that when that happens, kind of like as a standard over and over and over for a long time, we end up seeing the downside later down the road. And, this is political, but if you think about how we have so much manufacturing done in China for like essential goods, well, when the supply chain gets cut off and we're not the ones here in America being able to support some of our own, people being able to manufacture those things, you get people complaining, why is stuff so expensive? We need to, at certain times, pay for things and be willing to pay more than the lower competitive price. And the reason is it's in some way supporting our community. I'm not talking about the shave community, but it's like local produce. Why would I buy, lettuce from a whole nother continent when I could be growing my own food, or I could buy it from someone that possibly is growing it in my own city? It has to do with, kind of our carbon footprint, but also just what is the need for having to wait for stuff to get shipped all the way across, half of the world. And when we have the options to purchase something that's close. So again, that will be a little bit more in my Badger brush video, because that will be, I think, a little bit more in detail about some of our economic choices, as well as some of our, I don't know the word, but basically, there's a lot of controversy at times of, are we using Badger brushes that are from places where they're not treating the animals correctly? And that's one of the reasons why I've held off on doing this video, because I kind of have a feeling there's going to be some controversy in some of the things that I bring up, but it's not meant to be political. It's just meant to open up those topics because they're not mentioned very often. So I promise you guys that will be done probably in June. And I think a lot of you guys, again, if you're new to shaving, part of that video is for people that are like, what's a shave brush? What are the different, available bristles and hairs? Where do they come from? How is a shaving brush made? But for those of you guys that have been in wet shaving, I'm sure there's going to be a couple things in there that I'll mention that are maybe going to be new to you. So if you guys have any questions that you want me to cover in that Badger brush video, I'm happy to take your questions and include those. But obviously this video is very long. So for those of you guys that hung on, I really appreciate it. I'm going to be figuring out a edited format for these videos. So you will see some shave of the day videos like this, and then you're also going to see some shorter edited clips without me talking. So Abraham and David, thanks for being on the chat. For those of you guys that were just in the background, I appreciate you watching. If you're watching this on replay, Thanks for being here. Feel free to ask any questions, but I hope you guys are all doing well. Again, we're in very trying times. All of us in the world do not fully know what's going on. And if you do, then you can let me know what's going on. But I really just want to tell everybody that stay sane, stay happy, try and laugh at something today, and stay connected. We have a lot of negativity in the world, and I have been influenced and encouraged in my shave community, which I've been in since like 2012. And these are some people that I like to engage with and keep myself kind of sane. So I just want to encourage all of you guys, be happy, enjoy yourself. I really enjoyed this shave. David, real quick, if you're still on, I think this plus plate was a lot easier for me to use. And I was even thinking the first shave with the carbon razor, the standard head and base plate, that was really, really efficient. So I'm going to be curious to see if I really have a preference of this plus plate or the normal plate. So I'm going to hop off, you guys. Thanks again, everybody, and take care.